The National Weather Service has confirmed the tornado that touched down between Alta Vista and Alma Wednesday was an EF2 rated storm. Preliminary damage survey results say the twister formed around 7:45 and was on the ground for about 30 minutes Wednesday night, with an estimated wind speed of up to 115 miles per hour, a path length of 8.8 miles, and a max width of 400 yards. No injuries were reported. Elsewhere, weather officials said Thursday that the tornado that formed near Rossville Wednesday night was also an EF2 with estimated wind speeds up to 120 miles per hour. It had a path length of 4.7 miles and a max width of 200 yards, according to survey results. The tornado formed just before 8:30 and was on the ground for an estimated 20 minutes. No injuries were reported with that storm. Damage reports have been minimal with both storms. Wednesday was the area's first and certainly not the last taste of severe weather for 2024. Meteorologist Chip Redmond with Kansas Mesonet says warmer temperatures and some added soil moisture should lead to things greening up across the Manhattan area.
So I expect grass to really shoot through. I know a lot of people that prescribe berm are kind of getting nervous as the green up is likely to happen so fast. Might be a challenge to get their burns in the spring because of meeting their objectives. We need to consider that we're going to start to see trees really leaf out, and we're going to push things along. We're already running 2 to 3 weeks above normal for green up.
Because of this, there is the potential for freeze concerns with some vegetation. There is the potential for temperatures to dip into the mid-20s by Sunday night.
And a hard freeze is considered anything 28 degrees and below. So we could end up with damage to fruit trees and to any crops that people are growing, such as wheat. And it is not surprising. And unfortunately, probably won't be the last time we talk sub-freezing temperatures this spring.
Homeowners living in Geary, Morris, and Wabunsee counties are being advised to use caution and avoid falling into scams from fly-by-night contractors following Wednesday night's damaging storms. Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach says roofers should be registered with the Attorney General's office with few exceptions. The requirement to register is in addition to any other local requirements that may be imposed by cities or counties. Residents can check roofer registration online at inyourcornerkansas.org. Roofing contractors must obtain a contractor registration certificate to legally solicit or provide commercial or residential roofing services in Kansas. Other tips include getting recommendations and references, at least 3 written estimates from different contractors, checking those contractor complaint records with the Better Business Bureau, and understanding your payment options and right to cancel. Residents with any issues are welcome to contact the Attorney General's Public Protection Division at 800-432-2310 or visiting inyourcornerkansas.org. Sentencing for a Lecompton man convicted of causing a fatal crash near Wamego in August of 2022 will take place this morning in Pottawatomie County District Court. Mark Stanwicks entered guilty pleas in February to 2 counts of vehicular homicide, 3 counts of aggravated battery, and single counts of reckless driving and texting while driving. The crash killed a Wamego man and his 7-year-old son. The man's wife and 2-year-old son survived, but both were seriously injured. A St. Mary's woman in a separate vehicle was also injured. That hearing will get underway this morning at 9:30 with Judge Eric Campbell presiding. A new political party has emerged in Kansas. The United Kansas Party filed more than 35,000 petition signatures Tuesday to qualify for the November 2024 general election ballot. According to a release, the party promises, quote, a new era of collaborative politics that'll transcend traditional party lines. Party treasurer and former Manhattan City Commissioner Aaron Estabrook helped organize the new party a decade after he helped found the Moderate Party Political Action Committee.
So I was brought into the fold to help them organize a new party. That Jack Curtis being our party chair and Sally Cobble, the vice chair. She's a former State Board of Education member, Republican, originally from Liberal Kansas, but served all of Western Kansas, including Manhattan at some time.
The party's primary focus is fusion voting, the process where more than one political party nominates the same candidate on the ballot, allowing voters to support their preferred candidate. Fusion voting was once widespread in the United States, but Estabrook says many legislatures have effectively banned fusion voting in recent years.
But our Kansas Constitution is so strong in that political association that it protects, and we believe that if you're a voter or a candidate, you should have the right to associate with both parties. If you want to associate with a minor party and a major party, that's protected under the political associations and the protections in the Constitution for the state of Kansas.
The Secretary of State's office will inform United Kansas if they will be an official party within the next couple weeks. Over 800 athletes and coaches from across the state will be pouring into Manhattan this weekend for the Special Olympics State Basketball and Cheerleading Tournament. Special Olympics Kansas Senior Program Director Kristen Gugesberg gives a rundown of today's events.
Starting at Anthony. So here at 10, we've got our skills competition and our cheer competition taking place. Those will take a couple of hours, and then at lunchtime, we'll start our basketball play, and that actually is at both Anthony and Eisenhower. So we're starting at Anthony this morning, going through the afternoon at both facilities, and then this evening we actually have a banquet and a dance over at the 4 Points by Sheridan. They are hosting.
Activities will then continue Saturday at both Anthony and Eisenhower Rec Centers.
Good morning, I'm Troy Coverdale with your sports headlines at News Radio KMAN. Robert Jones scored 18 points, Trey King added 16 as 7th-ranked Iowa State harried K-State into 20 turnovers last night in Kansas City. That allowed the Cyclones to cruise to a 76-57 win in the quarterfinals of the Big 12 tournament. The Cats were to within one at 40-39 with about 16 minutes remaining, but then the turnovers really began to pile up.
We didn't play particularly well, but it was because of them, and they made things happen. They were very aggressive, and they came ready to play.
Tyler Perry finished with 18 points, Arthur Kaluma 13. Will McNair Jr. added 12 for the Wildcats, who now find themselves playing the waiting game through Selection Sunday.
We have elite quad one wins. There were three teams that ranked in the top 10 in the country when we beat them. We beat Kansas full strength. We beat them with Kevin McCullough and Hunter Dickerson, right? And we beat Baylor and we beat Iowa State. And so we have elite quad one wins. We have no bad losses. And so I felt last night when we won that game, they gave us our 9th Big 12 win, that we were in the tournament.
The Cats on the sideline until we learn their potential NCAA fate, as coverage of Selection Sunday will get underway at 5 on Sunday evening here on News Radio KMAN. Also in the quarters yesterday in Kansas City, Pop Isaac scored 22 points. Chance McMillan added 17 and 8 rebounds as 25th-ranked Texas Tech dropped number 20 BYU 81-67. The 4th-seeded Red Raiders led by as many as 23 and absorbed a 15-0 run by the Cougars in the second half to still win by double digits. Top-ranked Houston relied on its defense to shut down TCU in a 60-45 win. Emmanuel Sharp led the Cougars with 14 points. Jamal Shedd added 12, but it was their defense that limited the Horned Frogs through the contest. In fact, held them without a point for nearly 10 minutes at the start of the game. Ray J. Dennis shook off a tough start to score 13 as 14th-ranked Baylor picked off a 68-56 win over Cincinnati in last night's late quarterfinal at the T-Mobile Center. Oklahoma State has fired men's basketball coach Mike Boynton after a 119-109 stint in 7 seasons. The Cowboys were 12-20 this year. They lost their opening game of the conference tournament on Tuesday to UCF. The Cowboys under Boynton reached only one NCAA tournament as he dealt with the fallout from an NCAA investigation. And while his teams were often gritty and defensive-minded, they struggled to score. They had showed promise at the middle point of the season, winning 3 of 5 during a stretch in February, but then closed the year by losing 6 straight. Centennial League coaches have finalized their all-conference picks for the past girls basketball season, naming Manhattan High's leading scorer and rebounder, senior Maxine Daring, to the first team, and a pair of sophomores to the second group. Kat Ball and Delaney Larson were named second-team all-conference. Senior Emery Rolofson was honorable mention. Emporia's Addie Kermer was named Player of the Year. Carolyn Dorsey, the Coach of the Year, and Washburn Rules' Maddie Vickery was Newcomer of the Year. The Kansas City Chiefs and Marquise Brown have agreed on a 1-year contract that could be worth up to $11 million, according to a person familiar with the deal. Brown's best season came 3 years ago for Baltimore, when he caught 91 passes for just over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. He was traded to Arizona the following year, where in 26 games over 2 seasons, he caught 118 passes for just under 1,300 yards and 7 touchdowns. The Chicago Bears have acquired wideout Keenan Allen from the L.A. Chargers for a 4th-round pick. Allen has spent his entire 11-year career with the Chargers and was the longest-tenured player on the roster. He's going into the final season of a 4-year extension he signed in 2020, but he refused to take a pay cut or restructure the contract, according to a person familiar with yesterday's trade.